Thought you'd like to know what I think the big announcements that's coming next week that the crowd gossip was talking about is, although I know they hinted New Jersey, blah, blah. I don't think any of that. I think they're going to announce Vanderpump Rules and the new cast, which I've already done deep dives on all of them. It's in the Patreon. That's what I think the big announcement is. Remember, I said it. Like, subscribe before you forget. Hi, you guys. Long time no speak. Did you like today's bonus audio? I hope so. I worked really hard on that one for you guys. All right, well, let's get started, okay? I first want to talk about the fact that Kyle Richards is definitely laying the groundwork, either that we're going to see on the show or very soon they're going to drop in the tabloids, that they're probably going to sell the family home. Let me show you the clue she dropped on the after show that shows it. We still have not filed for divorce or anything, this is Kyle, but we have had more conversations about, like, what should we do? Should I still live where I'm living? Because she's in the Encino house. Should we sell the house and each go buy 2 new homes? Or do we keep the house because it's such a special property and just go our different ways? And then she goes on to say, we're discussing those things now, which we did not before. Now, Kyle was with Morgan Wade looking at houses in Nashville, so maybe she wants to have an LA house and a Nashville house. Now, then it was kind of weird what happened. Garcelle went on Mark and Kelly's live show, and she said this about Bose. Bose has asserted herself in like nobody's business. She's in there telling us all what to do. And she said that she admitted, though, that Bose and Jennifer Tilly were fun additions. Do you sense a little jealousy between Garcelle and Bose in that comment? I do. Now, Bose has gone on the Breakfast Club in the last few weeks and done an interview about, what's it like being on the show for her. And I'm just going to cut together a few clips and share it with you.
Illustrating anything, But I know that I'm not doing the thing that perhaps would be expected of me to do.
Right.
It's like I often said that, I wasn't going to come down into the mud. It's like if you have a conflict with me, you're going to have to rise to where I am.
Oh, okay.
In order for me,
look.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not having petty disagreements.
Right.
It's like I have enough going on in my life that I don't need
your house
to
down.
go down into like some small little things.
She went to the Peninsula Spa with her daughter recently to try to shake off the blues from losing their house in Malibu. Looks like Gavin Newsom has just announced that they're going to be simultaneously cleaning debris, approving permits, and also helping with construction that is like better suited for the climate, he said. So you guys have to let me know if it's truly happening in the way he's saying concurrently, because that's impressive if it is. So Garcelle was playing by a different rule book than Bose. Let me play you what she said on Breakfast Club about Garcelle and her being pitted against each other.
For her and I hope that what people are seeing is that it's a possibility to be more than one type of Black woman.
Yes.
That like Garcelle is an accomplished actress who has her own life and her own challenges and issues. And the conflicts that she's had with the women don't necessarily have to be my conflicts, because I don't have those conflicts with them. Mm-hmm. I probably have my own. And so why is it that we can only have one? Like, I really hate the comments when people are like, oh, okay, Bose is here, now Garcelle can go. And I'm like, why? Why can't one of the white girls go?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, why has it got to be her? Why are we pitting she and I against each other?
Right.
So I'm like, no, there can be more of us in these spaces without having to be, oh, there's only one type and that's it.
And I know you experienced
to be fair, some of that negative energy she's discussing came out of the way NBC and Bravo has operated in the past. Not made up by the fans by any means. Just saying. Well, Lisa Rinna got into trouble again. She went on Andy Cohen's show when he called her out for saying Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season in particular is the Titanic. It's sinking. And they're looking for lifelines to keep it going. Now, what was surprising was how much Andy Cohen actually kissed Lisa Rinna's ass in this interview. And I will say that struck me as unusual. I know they had sort of a feud when she departed. And it was just strange that he kind of bowed down to her a little bit. I want to contemplate that and why. Maybe you guys can give me some ideas as to why that might be.
saying that the show is the Titanic. You're on a podcast last week.
I know.
You mouth off. And
hello, have you met me?
I have, but
Hi.
I know, but you've so moved past the
Harry
show.
Hamlin
You're
is on
so
Watch What Happens
doing your
Live.
own thing.
I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Erica
Well,
told me last night.
Okay.
I saw her in the show. I went to
And
see
did
Chicago.
she tell you that you hurt her feelings too?
No,
Okay. Well, do you think you might have?
maybe.
Okay.
And I told
Because
her
your
I was
friend
sorry.
is still on the show.
I said I was sorry.
So it's not just about me.
It's not. I put my foot in my mouth. It's not that. That show's going to go on and on and on.
I mean, we happen to be having
words.
a great. You misused your words.
misused my
You didn't
words.
misuse your words. I mean, I misused
Okay, it's
my
a
words.
boat that's sinking. I don't know.
That's what you meant
But
to say?
here's
It's
the
a
thing.
boat that's sinking and not the Titanic? I mean, we're having one of the best
I meant
seasons.
to say
Yes.
Titanic, and I said it, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry I
You said the
hurt your
best.
feelings. Let's move.
Let's face it, Lisa Rinna's publicist is working overtime right now. She's walking runways. Her daughter's doing Chanel as an influencer. Harry Hamlin's promoting his sauce on Watch What Happens Live and saying, Bethany Frankel's taste is, subjective in her own. And some people are like, is it shade? Is it not? He's like, I'm a fan of Bethany. Anyway, they're just stirring up the pot because that gets press and headlines. Lisa's an old pro and she, dragged Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in because she knew it would get covered and, then it might get Andy to promote her more. It's like all promotional stuff. She doesn't care. So Porsha's thinking of going to University of Miami. I think she wants to be a sports agent, but she's also looking at other schools. And I thought it was funny. Imagine if John reconnected with Porsha like 14 years later. However, sadly, John wants to go to MIT in Massachusetts, so I don't think that will ever happen, but it would be really fun. Look how big John's gotten. He's not a Thai baby now. He got a perm. What do you guys think? I'm so proud of him. He's not even going to have that much undergrad to do when he graduates high school because he's done so many courses. By the time he's done, he'll have done a few at Daytona State and Florida University. Crazy. So, yeah. Well, anyway. So Sutton came out and spoke about her mother on Extra, and she said that her mom, after her father killed himself, really retreated, and that had a huge impact on her and maybe her mothering style with Sutton and the rest of the kids after. And I think Sutton wanted people to show her mom a little grace and not just villainize her, which was what I was trying to do on last week's recap. You'll notice at the end, if you made it to the end of last week's recap for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I put a whole bunch of things the mom had said about her experience with the producers and shooting the show and how challenging it was for her. And so, maybe it was also that made her look kind of negative on the show. Sutton also mentioned that her niece died when she was 13, and it happened in the same house her dad committed suicide in. Sutton's new sweater collection's coming out. They throw the fashion line that Sutton's doing into the conversation she has with her mom at the end of the episode. More on that later. PK's been dealing with some more drama with his friend Boy George. That was in today's bonus audio. So things are probably a little stressful for him right now. We know that Dorit said he was a monster, said he was a bad dad, he wasn't ever around, said all these things, and then in the after show said she was just retaliating because of the 9-page email that he sent her where he threatened her with money and bills and liability, and that was her reaction to it. Yeah, I don't know. I think she was probably telling the truth the first time. And now she's trying to protect the situation because I told you guys he can be really rough. And I would say he's pretty lethal when he gets pissed. I don't know. Dorit should have more power than that, given that she's, the breadwinner, really, at this point. But maybe he's got something on her or something. Who knows? All right, let's throw a little lipstick on, shall we? All right, so here's the thing. The show was pretty serious tonight. It was very interesting. We really spend most of tonight's show reliving with Sutton what she went through with her dad's mental illness that led to substance abuse that led to him committing suicide, and how it impacted her being a daddy's girl and her mom, Reba, who, obviously has internalized a lot of pain over being around that. And we find out that Sutton resents her mom a little bit because she allowed a loaded gun to be in the house while the father was constantly taking sleeping pills and alcohol. And she felt like maybe, I guess, the mom could have protected him better. But anyone who's dealt with anyone with mental illness knows you can't control someone with mental illness. You can't, you think you can remove a loaded gun, they'll find another, or they'll fight with you to the point where you're like, it's not worth it. Or, if you tell them to stop medicating, they do, and then they go back to it. It's just too much to put on any human. But we learn about things that people think privately that have been in these situations. So that's a lot of tonight's show. We see Garcelle being a good friend. She thinks that maybe Sutton's mom was a little jealous of Sutton's dad because Sutton was so close to the dad over the mom. And so maybe that also has some energy about it. Reba, from what I've done, the research I've done, is very proud of Sutton, but she doesn't verbalize it. But she is, because she's done articles about it. So before this was shot, saying that she was. But I think she's very critical and she's no nonsense and she's older and she just doesn't care. She's not trying to impress anybody. And the thing is, with Beverly Hills, all the women are always in a state of trying to impress. So of course Reba would come off as tough, right? Anyway, that was a lot of tonight's show, and it was very touching. Sutton shared that the last time she saw her dad in the room that he built, because she goes back to her family home, she pulled his toe and she didn't give him 5 minutes and she regretted that. We also see Erica Jane's rental house in West Hollywood coming along. She's put some cool paint on the walls and they're redoing the cabana to give it a vibe, and she's super happy, which I relate to because guess what, you guys? I started tiling my bathroom, the really bad one, the one that was gutted, and let me show you what it looks like so far. That's the backsplash of my shower. I worked so hard to find someone who could do that. See, it's floating. That's really hard to do. Okay. So Erica's got to be struggling a little because she's on her redemption season and she has zero story. There's nothing to talk about. Like, she has to bring in her cop son, Tommy Zizzo, who's been in the press a lot lately, I noticed, which may be why he might be gearing up to be like a friend of with his mother on the show to help her. Because I don't see how she's going to continue if she doesn't get like a boyfriend or a roommate or something that, we see her doing. It's just there's no story, or her kid living with her, something. It's just crickets. So then we see Bose and Liel getting together. And Bose says she wants to have a baby with Keely, and Liel says that she's down for it because she wants her mom to be able to bond with another child like she had with her mom, and she's leaving soon because she's like 15. Oh, John's age. Yes, leaving soon. Saint Tropez, here I come. Sorry. By the way, Kyle spilled some tea, which was Mauricio and PK were partying in Saint Tropez around the time they were shooting this Georgia scene, when Mauricio is taking Porsha to Mallorca and Madrid, and he stopped in London, went to Saint Tropez with PK, and also went to a spa in Switzerland. There's some very eligible ladies in Saint Tropez. Okay, but this is the point. Keely hasn't even said I love you to Bose, which is so sad because Bose seems to be like running towards this baby, but like, let's get the fundamentals out of the way. She's like, I don't feel like I need to. I could just kind of let it happen over time. But everybody's kind of looking at her like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's a big conversation between Dorit and Bose and Erica. They all think PK is being nice to Dorit out of the blue because he's trying to trick her or subdue her so she doesn't attack first. And they think it's kind of manipulative. And so Dorit's like, no, I don't think so. And, we're back to the old Dorit again, protecting bullshit, blah, blah, yada, yada. Okay. So the rest of the show really is this process that Sutton's going through with her mom, introducing her mom to her friends, showing her friends her childhood home where her dad, committed suicide, telling the story, the women listening, trying to be there for Sutton, trying to understand the dynamics and meet, have more and more details come out about Reba. We learn that her mom was raised, post World War II, and there were no compliments in her house, and her dad was stern, and she chose to go to work instead of being a wife to a man and subservient. And she really took a lot of pride in that, but she had to be tough, and no one ever gave her a compliment or a rub on the back or said, I love you. And she still just kept on trucking and doing it. And she just doesn't see why everybody isn't like that. And Sutton wants her to say, I love you and I'm proud of you. And so eventually they end up having a dinner together, or like they prepare a dinner for the women on their last night. And then at that moment, they have a heart-to-heart, and Reba says, look, I can be more of a friend to you as well as a mom, and I can take in consideration that you want me to be more like, say, I love you and proud and all that, although I think it's trite. But she was like, I can try. And Sutton's like, me too. And they both take accountability. And that's what the real win of the conversation is. They have like a weird hug and the scene's over. And that's the end of tonight's episode. And yes, I kept it really short, but that really was the whole show. Okay, you guys, look at my new haircut. It looks good. Listen, do me a favor. I'm kind of trying to decide what I should cover next. Like, what do we want to cover? It doesn't have to be Bravo. It can be, but I want to see in the comments. If you make it to the end of this video, please tell me what you think we should start covering in addition to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, for example, till the end of the season. What do you want me to do? Because I have gossip on everything and it goes deep, and the Patreons know, like, crazy stuff. So we just need to figure out what everybody wants to talk about. So what do you think? I'm open.